and good morning and welcome to Wimbledon Coffee Morning, brought to you by Lavazza. I'm Anne-Marie Batson.
And I'm Danny Jameson. On day 4 of the championships, you might want to cancel your plans. It's going to be a scorcher.
And what a day we have in store. It's going to be an absolute blockbuster, or in the words of Danny Jameson, an absolute belter, I think, for sure. But before we get going, we have to do one thing, very important thing. Happy 4th of July, everyone!
Indeed, all of our American friends waking up nice and early across the states. Happy 4th of July. I hope you enjoy the tennis before it all kicks off later with some barbecues and fireworks, and I'm sure we'll be having a lovely time. I'd rather be here though. Lots of tennis to look forward to today.
Lots of tennis. By the way, we've got to say hello to a couple of people who are watching around the world. First off, we have to say hi to Alison, who's been watching the show from Trinidad and Tobago, which is where my family's from. So hello, Alison, hope you're good.
Fantastic. Let's go literally across to the other side of the world.
Absolutely.
And let's go down to New Zealand and say hello to Kerry in Christchurch, who's watching. Apologies for the cricket yesterday. She's looking forward to some great matches at SW19. Thank you so much for watching along. Good evening to you. Hope you join us again today.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. It's really great that people are getting involved in the show, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. And we want as many of you to get involved as you can. You can join the story, use the hashtag join the story or the hashtag Wimbledon, and we've also got a Facebook group as well with loads of really nice stuff being put on Facebook. Wimbledon Join the Story is the place. No matter what it is, maybe it's your first time at Wimbledon, tell us where you're watching from.
That's really
who
important.
You're looking forward to.
Absolutely.
Any stories that you have connected to the championships in the fortnight. We would love to hear them.
Absolutely. And we actually have a poll running today because we've got a very special guest. The head gardener is going to be popping up to see us fairly shortly, which I'm really excited about. I'm sure you are too.
Indeed, yes. Martin Faulkner, he is responsible for pretty much all of the flowers and the plants that you see dotted around the grounds, and they are absolutely sensational.
Absolutely sensational. So we've got 3 options on the poll, which are...
Indeed, right. So we're going to be chatting with him a little bit later on in the show, but we want you guys to tell us what you want to know from Martin, who is, as I say, responsible for all of the plants here at Wimbledon. So get voting on your social media platform of choice. We've got 3 options, what you'd like to ask him. Maybe you'd like to know how long all of this place takes to get ready and match fit for the championships. Perhaps you maybe like some inside info and you'd like to know where Martin's favourite bit of the grounds is, or maybe you'd like to know how to recreate this Wimbledon look at home in your own garden. So get voting, and the winner, we will ask him towards the end of the show when he'll join us live.
Absolutely. And don't forget to use the hashtag Wimbledon and the hashtag join the story as well. Very important. Okay, so day 3 was a busy day for both of us yesterday.
Oh yes.
I had several walks around the ground because I was doing some shooting for social media. So we went to see Carl Edmund up on court. He was leading by 2 sets at the time. Then we went to see Heather Watson. We filmed her walking out to court, looking very focused as she did so. Then we went over to the queue for the resale tickets. That kicks off at 3 o'clock. You get the opportunity to buy tickets for courts, number 1 court, I should say, and centre court. And the queue was extremely long already.
Yeah, lots of people, I imagine, trying to get in to see Coco Gauff on number 1. She was awesome again yesterday. I also went out to the queue. There's the first part that we saw a little bit earlier on in the week. That's where people camp. But then further along, there's loads of activities and entertainment to do. Lots of stuff to keep you entertained. Now, we mentioned the social media stuff that people are getting in touch with their stories, and this really caught our eye today. It's from Jill and Mum Brenda. Now, they came down yesterday. They reckon they had the best ever day. They shared this on the Facebook group. It was everything they thought it would be and so much more. Jill says it was definitely up there with her wedding day. What do you think Mr. Jill has to say about that?
I dread to think.
I mean, look, they saw some great tennis. They were here literally as the gates opened at 10:30. They saw Victoria Azarenka, Novak Djokovic, Kyle Edmund. Nothing prepares you, she says, for the speed of the ball in real life. I admit that's something that has caught me by surprise as well. When you're really near to the court, it's astonishing the ball speeds that they get up to. But the atmosphere of it all, just absolutely amazing. So glad you had a great day, Jill. And anyone else coming down, tell us your stories.
Absolutely. And also we had a tweet come through from tennis legend Annabelle Croft talking about Coco Gauff, who I think has just blown everybody away with her talent for sure. And she was saying, what a story for 15-year-old Coco Gauff beating a former semi-finalist Rybarikova. I think I could beat anyone. Utterly fearless but charming with it. Perfect.
Absolutely. It will not be the last we hear, I predict, from Coco Gauff round these parts. And also, I'll tell you what, someone we've barely mentioned, incredibly, is into day 4, is Caroline Wozniacki, the former world number 1.
Yes.
Slipped under the radar a little bit, but she won again yesterday. She's into round 3. She beat Veronika Kudermetova. And the Wimbledon Twitter asking, could this be her year?
Absolutely. So much happened yesterday, and it's day 4. So much happening. Here's something to get you in the mood.
That piece could have been about 10 minutes long today. There's so much going on. So break it all down. We've got our very own Nick McCarville. Happy 4th of July, my friends.
Happy 4th of July to you,
There's the
Nick.
fireworks I was waiting for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, let's start with the women. And why not, as it's 4th of July, lots of Americans
Yeah,
today.
certainly a lot of Americans. Serena Williams, who didn't necessarily convince a lot of people, but she won. A win is a win in the first round. And actually going up against Kaja Juvan from Slovenia in this match today. I don't really know much about Juvan. I don't think really anyone does. She's a qualifier. She's come through. And that's actually a test for Serena because she doesn't know that opponent well. I think that'll be a tough one for her today. But for me, with Serena, it's about just building bit by bit. So she got through that first round, I think check mark. But gosh, the news still bubbling is the fact that she and... Have we settled on a mixed doubles name for Serena and Andy?
I'm not
I
sure we
don't- not
have.
sure we have,
Oh,
no.
we've got a bit of time
Mazarina.
still.
Mazarina was the one
I really
I've seen.
like... You know what Jamie Murray suggested was Sir, S-E-R,
Okay.
Andy.
I mean, that seems a bit harsh, given that's literally just Andy Murray's name officially, isn't it?
No, but S-E-R
Yeah.
for Serena.
It just sounds like we're calling him Sir Andy.
Well,
which
it
he
would
is.
work for a hashtag,
Serena,
right?
well, yeah, no, that could
You
work.
also watch out for Sloane Stevens today against Wang Yafan, who is a Chinese player that has had great success. She won a title in singles earlier this year, and I actually just saw Sloane down at the hitting facility at Orangi. And Sloane's someone you just never know the kind of tennis she's going to produce. We have the same feeling with Madison Keys, who yesterday went out. We were hoping we would see Maddie against Coco Gauff in the third round. Coco held up her end
Yep.
of that bargain amazingly. That's really been, we talk about 4th of July and the American players. Coco Gauff has just been huge headlines. CNN, ABC, the coverage has been insane on her. But all eyes for me today on Serena. Also, you just look across the board. Lauren Davis, I spoke to her the other day. She has Angelique Kerber. They played 8 years ago. They're meeting for the second time. So she said, listen, when you play someone that long ago, you don't really look at that match. Kerber won that match, of course. But overall, just a lot of Americans in action. John Isner and that big serve, he can always do damage, of course.
Let's not forget Anna Anisimova as well, who
Yeah.
is the youngest. She's the youngest, isn't she, on the WTA side as a ranked player? So we have to throw her in as well.
Yeah, as a seeded player, of
Yeah.
course. No, Anna Samova coming off that French Open semi-final run, and she has continued to really impress. She's still only 17, but I was really impressed with her maturity through the French Open. She took out Simona Halep as the defending champion there and just did it with ease. I mean, the way that she hits so hard off of both wings, Anisimova is certainly one that we should watch out for sure.
So world number one, Ash Barty, is she unstoppable, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, she's been pretty confident so far. I thought it was really good for her to get settled in that first round win, feel like that she settled into the tournament as the world number one, which is a new role for her. It's just week 2 in that role. But today she's got Alison Van Uytvanck, who's been around for a while, and Van Uytvanck last year beat Garbiñe Muguruza, who's the defending champ last year, on this same court in this same round. So you've got to watch out for that match a little bit today for Ash Barty. But she just goes about her business. She's really no frills, and that's what we appreciate about Barty. But yeah, I think that's a little bit of an upset watch. That's first on the number 2 court.
Upset watch.
Now we've had so many big names today. We haven't actually talked about your pick for today.
Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
get it up. Let's get the board up.
There's the
Why
board.
are we going for Petra Kvitova today?
Well, I just think that, I mean, Petra Kvitova, of course, a 2-time champion, as you both know, but as our tennis fans watching along will know that Kristina Mladenovic Kiki, she is a tough customer, a big hitter, and she's actually been playing with more confidence recently. She has Sasha Bayin, who had been coaching Naomi Osaka, of course, through those 2 Grand Slam wins. He's now coaching Mladenovic, and he's done a really good job. She's the world number 1 in doubles. She won the French Open in doubles. She's one of the best doubles players in the world, but she was a top 10 player a couple years ago in the singles. And guys, I really think she's figuring it out again. And I also call this one out because I think for Kvitova, this is the first match on number 1 court. For Kvitova, she is coming in with that injury lingering. And she said before the tournament she wouldn't be playing any other tournament, but she's playing Wimbledon in the sense of her injury and where it's at right now.
She's pushing through it just
yeah,
to play
she
her.
is. Yeah, I think it'll be really intriguing, this matchup. It's going to be big hitting, of course, and you definitely give Mladenovic a fighting chance there.
Okay, I'm looking at like the Brit Watch, of course, got Johanna Konta playing today, Siniakova. Potential upset, do you think, here with this one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Siniakova has won their only previous meeting. And for Johanna Konta, you talk about pressure for Ash Barty, you talk about pressure for the defending champion, Angelique Kerber. But I think the pressure is squarely on the shoulders of Konta. And Siniakova, just a few weeks ago, she took out Naomi Osaka at the French Open in this same round. She's been world number 1 in doubles. She's the defending champion here in doubles, along with Barbara Krejcikova. And so Siniakova, she's going to go out this match on center court, and I think she's going to take her chances. But yeah, that's a good shout on that one.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Doing rather well, aren't we? Listen, we could go on all day about the ladies' side of the draw. It is absolutely stacked today. Great matches wherever you look. Time to switch your attention to the gentlemen, mainly because back in action. Oh, it's my favourite man in the entire world and everyone's favourite Frenchman, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, and he went down to have a little bit of a lesson in stringing.
Tsonga, Grand Slam singles finalist, is up against his trickiest challenge here, doing a quick string on the racket after coming through his first round match yesterday. 17th major title earlier this year in Montpellier, but this is really getting the better of this French legend. Look at how quickly those fingers are working. He's coming under real pressure here. Now, even the crowd are getting involved here at SW19. As is always the case, Tsonga is a real crowd pleaser.
Yeah, I've done that before when I was a kid. I used to string my racket by myself. But since I lost it a little bit, because I didn't do it since a long time. And just funny, you know, to be back on the on the string machine, and yeah.
And a greater appreciation for the guys who get all your equipment ready so that you can perform on court.
Yeah, of course, it's really important for us. It's part of the game. Like the umpire are part of the game, the ball kid and the crowd and everybody around the game. So yeah, it's really important for us, the players and everybody, I think.
Today is even more advanced than the other one.
Coming under real pressure here. Still going strong. Running into problems?
No. This is perfect. Look at this. Like the clear one. Like
Assessment so far, Lucien?
Assessment is it shows it has strength before. He knows how to turn on the machine. He knows how to use the traction head. He knows how to pass the string. No big deal. He can be part of the mafia, of the stringers mafia.
Definitely a new career beckons for Jo-Wilfried Tsonga when eventually he does retire. But of course, he's got Richard Berankis in the second round here after coming through that sub 1 hour match against Tomic yesterday. Is he done? 2 minutes 13.76 and the crowd go wild.
Part of the mafia stringer.
I think Jo-Wilfried Tsonga's possibly got a new job.
Well,
in the
yeah.
future, for sure.
Whenever he finally retires.
Why didn't
it's
you
stringing.
get to do that interview, by the way, Danny?
Oh,
Where were
I
you?
think I've got a restraining order by this point. haven't I?
Can I ask you, how many players do you know that actually string their own racket?
You know, that's a good question because most of the players who have done this little bit here at Wimbledon so far, you can see that they're like, oh, wow, that's what you do? That's how you do it? And I actually don't know. I know there's some players that are pretty well versed in it, but I don't think it's common on tour because every tournament has a stringing facility, and some players actually use bespoke. They use private stringers that they'll either travel with or that they'll group with and send their rackets there during a tournament.
Indeed. Now,
Fascinating.
before we get on to the gentlemen's, make sure you're voting in our poll. We've got Martin Faulkner coming up later on, the head gardener here, to answer all of your questions about the flowers and the wonderful plants and all that sort of stuff. What would you ask him if you...
Oh my gosh, well, the operation is insane. I would love to know when do they start actually preparing, when do you start planting said flowers for the championships? Does that happen in March, April, May? Does it happen, you know, the few days before the tournament actually begins? I have no idea.
Funnily enough, that is exactly one of the questions
Oh,
on the
good.
poll.
Yeah.
So if you agree with
Look
Nick,
at it.
Not
Yeah.
submitted by me.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. Let's start on the gentlemen's then. Why don't we start with Jo-Wilfried?
Sure,
Because,
yeah.
I'm basking in his glow still against Ricardas Berankis.
Yeah, well, you know, this is a former world #1 in the juniors. I should have caveat there. He took out Shapovalov in the last round. Berankis is always dangerous, but Tsonga, you know, the power game is there, Danny. And I know I've said this about a few players, but if you just give them a chance to work their way into the tournament, I did have a chance to interview Joe after that first round match where he was on court for just 58 minutes against Bernard Tomic, the shortest men's match in 15 years here. And he seems quite relaxed. I just don't know if he believes that he's going to go too far in this tournament, but I definitely would factor him as the winner over Berankis today.
Absolutely.
Hope we live to fight another day so we can talk about him on another show.
Got to talk about BritWatch again. We've got 3 British players in action today, and of course Roger Federer is going to be meeting one of them later.
Yeah, against Jay Clark on the #1 court, which will be massive. Jay Clark winning his first Wimbledon singles match. He had been a doubles third rounder a couple years ago with Marcus Willis. He also made the semis last year with Harriet Dart in the mixed doubles. But Jay Clark is someone who's developed a very physical game the last couple years. He's inside the top 200. He's used that wild card. He's used it well. He got that first singles win over Noah Rubin. And now you just go out and you swing against Roger Federer. And he said, Anne-Marie, that his only focus is going to be the tennis ball in front of him because he just can't think about... I was like, come on, Jay. Give me a little... that's Roger Federer across the net from you. And he's like, no, Nick, I just have to focus on what I need to do, which is the mentality you have to have.
Absolutely. And hasn't he paired with Coco Gauff for the mixed doubles as
Yeah,
well? Which is
big
exciting.
news. Yeah,
that's great
totally.
news.
Yeah, so he and Coco Gauff, which is great. You've got Andy and Serena. You've got Venus Williams with playing with
Tiafoe.
Frances Tiafoe.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bethany Maddox-Stands with Jamie Murray. I know Harriet Dart was a little disappointed that she's not playing with Jay Clark, but that'll be great, Jay and Coco. And then otherwise for the British guys today, Cam Norrie with that big opportunity against Kei Nishikori on center court. That's going to be a really tough ask because these guys, they play somewhat similar. Cam Norrie is a lefty, but overall, I mean, Nishikori is just so consistent. He
is.
really is.
And he loves a 5-setter as well, as we know.
Yeah, he certainly does. That could be a long first match. And then Dan Evans, you know, the fact that he's here, the fact that he's won his first round match, he's working hard. You know, he's giving himself a chance to go deep at Wimbledon, and he's worked his way back into the top part of the game, and I think he's really appreciative of what he's been able to produce.
Well, I'm riding a 1-match upset alert streak after picking Riley Opelka yesterday.
yeah.
So,
Well done.
do you know what my one for today?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It is going to be Dan Evans over Nicolas Basilashvili.
Wow.
I'm going to predict it. Right now, where should we go for some excitement today? I've seen you've written written one match that everyone's
Well,
talking about.
I mean, come on.
the board.
How could I not rate this match? I was actually talking to Hannah, our producer, and I just said, listen, you can't not pick Nadal Kyrgios because today it's massive. There's been some war of words. There's been words exchanged. There's maybe some salt involved, maybe some vinegar in this match. But overall, you look at this matchup today, and Nick Kyrgios is going to try to serve big. He's going to try to keep the points as short as possible. Whereas with Rafa, he's going to try to make it really physical. He's going to try to bash from the baseline. They're 3-3 head-to-head. Nick won their most recent in Acapulco. Nick won here 5 years ago on the grass. I still would favor Rafa just a little bit on form. I heard that Nick was out for a little sushi dinner last night. Maybe not necessarily your routine, your classic preparation for a big match. But hey, they're third on today, so maybe he had a little lie-in and he'll get ready for Rafa. But that's last on center court today, and I think that's massive. I mean, listen, I always love my court 12 situation.
Yeah.
You've
Who have
got
we got
Harriet
today?
Dart there. You've got Marin Cilic. You've got Anna Samova, as you guys mentioned. You also have the big little guy in Diego Schwartzman's out there. But I have to say, the number 2 court, you've got Ash Barty to start. Then you mentioned your upset pick today, Dan Evans against Basilashvili. And then you've got Kerber, your defending champion. And you also have Matteo Berrettini against Marcos Baghdatis in what could be Baghdatis' last career match. I just spoke to his wife, Carolina Sprem, who is a former second weeker here. She's a top player. And she was quite emotional, saying that, Marcos got the wild card. It's his last Wimbledon. It's his last tournament. But Berrettini is a big serving Italian, and we really that would be an enjoyable match, hopefully, if Baghdatis can play up to his level.
So you're recommending people make their way to, if they haven't got centre court tickets or number 1 court tickets, go to court 2. That's your pick.
Listen, you can
pick
go
of the
and
day?
you can go anywhere you want. Don't let me dictate where you go. But again, and also right behind us, court 18 is amazing. De Minaur, you've got Kiki Bertens against Taylor Townsend. She's a crafty American with the lefty slice. Bencic against Kanepi, and then Jamie Murray and Neil Skupski flying the British flag on the 4th of July, playing some doubles on court 18.
One person we haven't mentioned is Andy Murray is actually in men's doubles
Yes.
action today. Where do you reckon we'll be able to see him? So he's TBC so far. Later on.
Well, you'd think for crowd management that they're hoping that either center court or number 1 court moves along, and you look at the schedule overall. I would guess it's going to go on number 1 court because you have 2 women's matches, 2 best of 3 matches, versus the 2 best of 5 men's matches on center court. That I would be surprised if it would go somewhere other than number 1 court. But yeah, listen, it is a to be determined. So as the schedule goes, you guys watch out and put your guesses on social media. Where will Murray end up playing today?
Absolutely. By the way, my colleague to my right had the opportunity to meet somebody very special, an important member of the Wimbledon family. His name is Rufus the Hawk, and we, or I should say you, had a chat with his handler, Imogen.
Well, I've tracked down one of SW19's biggest celebrities. This is Rufus the Hawk and his handler, Imogen, who is probably better at answering the questions than Rufus is. Now, Rufus is a Harris Hawk, and what exactly is his role?
So Rufus works here as the chief bird scarer at Wimbledon, so to prevent any pigeons that want to try and interrupt play, which might seem like it's not a very big problem, but in the past it really has been.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, Rufus is calming down quite nice. He's got this little hat on. What's that for?
So I'm just going to take that off actually.
Oh, here
This
we
is
go.
called his hood. So here we go, the big reveal.
Magnificent.
So this is Rufus. Now, I just had that hood on because it keeps him nice and relaxed. He can see 10 times further than we can, so and also in more detail. So you can imagine when he's tethered to my hand, he wants to go off and fly and check there's nothing that he can be, any pigeons over in the trees over there. So he's just going to constantly be looking around trying to assess the whole situation.
As he is right now.
Exactly.
So take me through. So when you go and scare off the pigeons, how exactly does it work?
So we arrive here at 4:30 in the morning, ready to watch the sunrise and check that there's no pigeons around. We're here all year round, so the majority of the work is done then, but we're here to just kind of scour the area and remind the pigeons that it's not a safe place for them to roost or to think that they can come and start getting involved in. So when they see Rufus flying towards them, they realise it's definitely not a place they want to hang around in.
I'm not surprised. I was saying, Rufus is a Harris Hawk. They're not native to the UK. Where would we find these guys in the wild?
No, so they're not native to the UK at all. They're actually native to like Central and Northern America. But they really well adapted to this sort of environment. So they They've got like a really wide wing base, so you can
As
see
we're
it's
seeing.
quite broad, and they're really good at weaving in and out of what would be in the wild trees.
Right.
But up here, it's really good at weaving in and out of the roof. But they hunt socially as part of a pack, so Rufus now sees me as part of his pack, and we kind of basically hunt together.
Exalted status. What's he like to take care of? Because you don't just handle him around here, right? You look after him on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, of course. So it's a family business, and we have like 10 birds in total. So we have to make sure that they're all being exercised daily. They're fed frequently throughout the day, and then after here, Rufus just goes off and has a nice bath and relaxes in the sun. So
Oh, lovely.
yeah, he has a lovely life.
I could get used to that.
I
think.
know, definitely. I don't get to do that. Just Rufus.
I have to ask, how high maintenance is he?
Do you know what? Today he's been wonderful.
Yeah?
He does have his essentially he's a wild animal, so he will absolutely do whatever he wants. When I fly him free, like it's not like he's a kite and I can just reel him back in. Earlier this morning, he'd had me running out over onto the golf course and all of that. Like early in the morning, you kind of think, let's just have like an easy day today, Rufus. Let's just concentrate on where we're supposed to be. But if I want him to go left, he'll go right all the time. So he can be a bit diva-ish, but he's pretty good.
Well, he is an absolutely magnificent bird. Should I take my life into my own hands?
I
and
think you should.
give it a go.
Become part of the pack.
Teach me how to hold.
So you've got your glove
Yep.
made from a leather. So that's on your left hand,
Uh-huh.
which although you might think it'd be better on your right, you actually put on your left because you would have traditionally in medieval times been riding your horse with your right and then hunting, like holding your hawk on your left, ready to go out hunt
course.
and procure your food. So if you're ever hungry and you've got a hawk and a horse, you're going to be fine.
I mean, I'll probably just head down to the Saint.
There
There we go. Look, that was easy.
There you go.
He is absolutely magnificent. I mean, how scared should I be? I mean, he's a wild animal. How dangerous is he, I suppose?
I mean, it's his talons that are the main problem area, and they actually will lock onto the prey. So you can see that they're
Locked onto
quite
me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they actually he's not gripping you too tightly, so
No.
he's really quite comfortable.
Oh,
but if he wants to, like, he'll grip on really tightly, and you're not going anywhere.
Right, Imogen, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
Rufus with us. He's absolutely magnificent and does a wonderful job.
Thanks for having
Superb.
us.
Thanks so much. Sorry, Anne-Marie. I think I found a new co-host.
Oh, Rufus the Hawk, legend here
Oh,
at
yeah.
Wimbledon, isn't he, for sure?
Absolutely awesome. Adam Hunt from Wimbledon Channel has joined us to go for a bit of social media. Have you met Rufus yet?
I have, yes. I met Rufus for the first time a couple of years ago. We had a good chat. Talked about why we like tennis so much and how we got into the game.
Right, let's bash through some
on.
social media, shall we? Justin Gold has been tweeting, saw Rafael Nadal.
Yes, Rafa was at the practice courts yesterday. A great spot for the fans if you're coming for the first time and you want to see the top players up close and you haven't got a chance to see them on a match court, either because you haven't got a ticket for that court or they're not on that day. You know, Rafa wasn't playing yesterday, he's playing Nick Kyrgios later, but they're at Arangi practicing, and there's a nice viewing gallery. You can get pretty close to them and you know, see them going through the motions and getting ready for their matches. And you can almost learn more about the players from watching them on the practice court sometimes than you can on the match court.
Indeed, and I tell you what, it's a cracking photo. We're getting so many people that are getting in touch with like really, really good photos. Yeah. And I think we're going to struggle not to get some people some jobs.
We don't need professionals anymore.
I know, exactly. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Another decent photo from the queue. From, I wonder who this one is, Rogers #1 in the queue watching their hero.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was one of those days where the people in the queue, they look at the order of play for the following day to see who they might want to. There's no, you don't have to do much guessing to figure out who this person wanted to see. Roger Federer on court #1 today against Jay Clark, one for the British fans. I think there'll be a few split loyalties here because Roger Federer is so well supported. I mean, all over the world, but particularly here, so many Fed fans are also British. So on which side they will fall, we shall have to wait and see.
I imagine it won't take long for them to define their loyalties, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. We should say, by the way, the gates are open and people are starting to stream through. We can see people now heading up to the hill, and Court 18 is filling up behind me. And we've just seen a massive school group as well coming through.
I thought they were Aussies for a while because they're wearing
Yeah,
yellow
I thought they were
t-shirts,
for
but
a
it's
while.
just a school.
I never had school trips like that. It's extraordinary.
They were being very quiet for Aussies, so I thought they must be kids.
Indeed. Speaking of kids, fabulous spot from Concha C on Instagram, who spotted the ball boys and ball girls looking very, very smart and
They are
professional.
always
indeed.
so well turned out,
It's like
aren't they?
military precision, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And their polo Ralph Lauren, they go through all the training. you know, we've done some features on the Wimbledon channel in the past about the intense training they do before they get here. You know, it's no coincidence. You know, it's easy to look good but not know what you're doing, but they know exactly what they're doing. They don't put a foot wrong throughout the championships on the outside courts, on the show courts, and it's because of that training they do beforehand. They're from local schools, and they're, you know, when you think of Wimbledon, I think that's one thing that comes into people's minds is the immaculately presented ball boys and ball girls.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're extraordinary. If you do come down, maybe take a couple of points off from the match you're watching and watch the ball kids, because the precision at which they move is really quite extraordinary. How they keep it going all day, I've no idea.
It is literally turning at right angles, isn't it? When they're
Yeah, and they have to hold the ball up straight like that.
Hands
the one on one side and one on the other. It can be quite dangerous as well, because, you know, particularly some of the big servers sending the ball down. We've seen them get hit in the past, both ball girls, ball boys, and the line judges as well. So it's a tough job.
Absolutely. Let's give a shout out to Carol, I believe, on Facebook, who says, "Wonderful Wimbledon. Only been here once in her life," she was saying, "and it was a beautiful experience, as she's an avid fan for 60 years."
Well, that's the thing as well, is I think there is a difference as well, watching on television and then actually being here. It's a great experience watching the matches on TV, and there's a lot of people who aren't fortunate enough to be able to come here. But when you do get here, it is a different experience just to walk around the grounds, see all the beautiful flowers. I'm a bit jealous you're speaking to Martin Falconer in a second.
We'll pass on any tips he gives us for
well, yeah, he can sort my garden out. But the place is just immaculate, and it's just lovely to be here. And I think when people do get the chance to come, whether it's every year or once every 10 years, it's a special day.
One of the other, I think, my favourite people, I guess, around the grounds, the sniffer dogs from the British Transport Police as well, down at Southfield Station. If you come in, you'll see them as you come in. And they have their own Twitter account, at BTP Swoop. This is Swoop the police dog. Been here all morning outside Wimbledon Station. Still hasn't got his paws on a single tennis ball.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing is in the morning, before the spectators get in, they do a tour of the grounds, and they're in the bushes, out the flowers, and it's great to follow them. You just follow them around, even if you're not really a dog person. It's just great to watch them. Every single inch is covered.
Yeah.
And they're all, as you would expect, very well behaved.
Indeed, yeah, could you imagine? No, hopefully he finds a tennis ball today. Let's hope so anyway.
Absolutely. Another post that went out on Instagram, a very lucky fan got a chance to have a selfie with Maria Sakkari. In the golden era of tennis, Maria Sakkari stands out. And she's such a lovely person anyway.
She is. She's really funny. She's great in interviews. You know, she's happy to talk about what she does off the court. I just like, you know, seeing the selfies. You know, when people do get a chance to get close to the players, and you know, we keep talking about the fan experience, and that's a great part of it here at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah, you can bump into all of your heroes pretty much if you're around. The poll, by the way, is now closed. It's closed, so please don't vote. But we'll ask the winning question to Martin a little bit later on. Moving on with the social media, one young lady, as we were saying, who was extraordinary yesterday, Coco Gauff, and Maureen O'Connell got in touch on Twitter. Just 15 years old, played magnificently into the third round of Wimbledon. For context, when she was 15, she spent the summer trying to learn the words to Brandy and Monica's "The Boy Is Mine."
Well,
what about you guys?
Even that's quite impressive. I couldn't do that. She really has just taken the world by storm. I don't know what her follower numbers on social media, Twitter, Instagram, those kind of things, have gone from to in the last few days. But
probably rocketed.
It's a hurricane that's hit her.
What were you doing when you were 15?
I can't talk about that because my dad might be watching.
Yeah, I was very much not winning on at Wimbledon on number one court. What about you, Adam? What were you doing at 15?
I was at school somewhere, failing in some class. Definitely not succeeding at the highest level in anything.
It worked out all right. You're here,
well,
so you know.
Exactly.
Everything happens for a reason. And one last one, Paddy O'Neill. I also thank you, Coco Gauff, for reminding me that I am truly unremarkable.
I think there's a lot of people
yeah,
that are feeling that
I
way.
felt that very much.
Checking the date of birth and thinking, when?
I know. Like she doesn't remember Venus Williams winning Wimbledon.
No.
Which is extraordinary.
Yeah, and I think for her as well, we do get it quite often, you know, players playing against their heroes, but it must just be such a surreal experience for her to walk out on court with someone that she has literally grown up watching.
Yeah.
Amazing
Absolute
story.
madness.
And hopefully she keeps going.
Yeah.
She's through qualifying. She's through to the third round.
Oh, let's
Who's
not
to
tempt
say?
fate.
Who knows
Let's not
where
tempt
she'll go?
fate.
Adam, thank
One
you so
game.
much for your time. You're off to the Wimbledon channel now, which
Yeah.
we can watch on YouTube, on the app, on Wimbledon.com.
I'm putting the sunscreen on because
Yes.
we've had been lucky with the weather so far, but today's going to be a scorcher.
Oh,
today.
yes. Yeah, as
And
predicted.
As since we've got so much sun, that means that's going to be the flowers are going to be blooming. And one popular theme as I've been walking around the grounds is the public talking about the flowers. And our special guest, Martin Faulkner, is here to talk to us about how he goes about his role.
So beautifully decorated with flowers. I didn't expect that at all because I was expecting, because it's a sport, more just not so beautiful, like you said, honestly.
The flowers, the purple and the green and the white. Mauve is my favourite colour. Love it.
Lots of lovely comments about all of those flowers, and the man himself is here. Martin, thank you so much for coming up onto the roof. Fantastic job you've done on this. Everything really. The flowers in our studio, all across the way. This is your 19th championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, been here a while.
So how did you get into it?
Well, I got a job through someone that knew someone that kind of route in, but I was doing a bit of gardening before, so I kind of knew what I was doing, and then that's where it starts, and this is where I am today. So great place to work. 19 years has flown by, and it seems like yesterday.
Can I ask you, what's your favourite place around the grounds here?
So it changes year on year because we do so much stuff. But this year, I think the members' brasserie, as you come in gate 13, there's a water feature, and then right in that area we've put loads of new hydrangeas, and it just really looks amazing. So, but it changes at the moment. The living wall behind us, that's looking great. So it's difficult to choose. It's like choosing your favourite child.
Yeah. That was a poll winner, by the way. So don't tell me we never do anything for you. That was what won our poll on social media. You mentioned the living wall. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's new this year.
That's new this year. It's been in kind of planning for 3 years since the roof on number 1 was decided was going to happen. The living wall was not far behind it. It was installed around Easter time of this year, but been growing off site for 18 months. So working with the company that installed it, plants at work, fits in with our tennis and English garden ethos. So lots of work has gone into it. So it's not just kind of appeared. There's been a process for a few years.
People haven't been down. What exactly is the living wall?
So it's a vertical planted wall,
right.
250 square metres. So quite big. So basically, if you look at the playing area of a tennis court, it's about the same sort of size. So we've literally flipped a tennis court up on its side vertically. So.
And it's all in the Wimbledon colours as well, the purple, the white and the green.
Yeah, it's kind of an easy palette for me to work with, really. So yeah, and it's all it's there all year. So we've got tours and we've got members. So it's not just for championships. It does look a little bit better probably for the championships than the rest of the year, but it's geared up to be there all year and look great. So. That was one of the challenges, making sure that people that turn up in February are kind of getting the benefits as well as everyone that's here today.
I mean, it was in our poll, but I need to ask it anyways. People who are watching maybe have a green thumb or two. How do they get this sort of look in their own gardens?
So our ethos is tennis in English garden. So if you think of that English garden feel, but iconic plants at Wimbledon, they're your hydrangea. Don't know really, it kind of stems back to sort of the 40s for as far back as I can kind of trace it back, and then petunias are everywhere. We use as an annual bedding plant, so it's quite easy to create just a couple of plants there to get them going. But think English garden, foxgloves, all those sorts of plants, and you're there or thereabouts, and purple and green.
Of course, the correct colours. It's a very, very big site that you have to manage and keep in tip-top shape. How many people have you got working with you?
So I've got 7 full-time gardeners. And then for the build up to the championships, when we really start ramping up, is sort of April time, we get another 5 to 7 additional hands in to give us that boost, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on.
So much happening, so much. But of course, the championships sadly do have to come to an end. So what happens to the flowers after that?
So afterwards we have a little bit of a decant in certain areas. Some areas stay in because we've got members, and there's a few other little tournaments that happen afterwards. And we do a plant sale, so the staff get to take advantage of that, and then the money raised from that goes to the Wimbledon Foundation. So that's a great cause. And then we have lots of community gardens and charities that come in and just scoop up anything that's left, and we very rarely have a plant or two to spare once that's gone. We keep a few spares for us around the grounds, but apart from that, it just gets swiped up. So it's great to see,
I'm not surprised. So, anyone watching the other eye on for the sale at the end of the championships, what would you recommend they pick up?
Oh, a hydrangea for the price. For the price that we sell them at, is it's a great.
Are expensive.
They're expensive, and there's a big blousy flower on there, and you get lots for your money. So I always go hydrangea.
Martin, listen, thank you so much
Thanks
for coming
for
up
your
here.
time.
No worries.
It genuinely
You're a very busy
does.
man.
Oh, it looks spectacular.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic job.
Thank you.
Well done to you and the team. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for because play is about to begin behind us on court 18 and across the grounds
Across
here.
the grounds. So much happening today, but of course do keep across everything on social media and also on the Wimbledon channel as well. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10:15.
Indeed.
And so exciting.
Yes, and we're going to leave you with probably the match that everybody's talking about on day 4. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap it all up for you. And of course, Nick Kyrgios against Rafael Nadal.
It's a positive start for me, and just I have another day to keep working on the things that I need to work, and I hope that's gonna help me.
That will do. Nadal moves on, no early slip or stumble here, and his bid for a third men's singles title at Wimbledon is up and running.
Nick Kyrgios is through to the second round of the men's singles here at Wimbledon.
When you're a kid, you want to play the best players in the world on the best court in the world. And this is something that I can't take for granted. I'm going to grasp it with both hands and go out there and give him my best shot. He's one of the greatest tennis players of all time. I go into that match as an unbelievable underdog, but I know that if I play the right type of tennis, I can have success against him.
I play against a top talent player. Second round is a super tough one. I know that. I need to be at my 100%, and I'm gonna fight for it.